What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're going to dive into, in the next couple of videos, we're going to dive into credit cards. I'm going to chunk up these videos and these topics into a few so that you understand what they are and you can kind of jump into what video and content you need. So in this first one, we're going to discuss how credit cards work, why they exist, and how they make money. So first of all, credit is simply the company is extending you a credit to spend whatever you want to spend, with the promise that you'll pay it back. And if you don't, if you don't pay it back right away, then they'll make it easy or flexible for you to pay it back over time and charge you interest along the way. Okay. Now, as we talked about before, interest rates on credit cards are typically pretty high because they're unsecured. There's no collateral. I go and buy whatever, clothes, and rack up $15,000 on my credit card. There's no collateral. They can't come and take my clothes away. Okay. So it's personal debt, it's uncollateralized, and therefore it's more risky. So their interest rates are higher. So what happens is, let's just start out with the really, really basic example here. So let's say I go and apply for a credit card and I get it on January 1st, I'm approved, okay? So I'm gonna start spending. Now, you don't wanna spend more than you're normally spending, okay? Credit cards are not the license to obviously go buy whatever you want, just because all of a sudden you can afford the payment. Just spend normally, okay? But instead of using your debit card, you're just gonna use a credit card. You're gonna funnel it through the credit card. So you start spending all through January, and then a month passes and you're at February 1st, you're gonna get a statement. And the statement says, hey, you spent $2,000 in January. So that's the statement balance, okay, which is the current balance that you owe. And they're gonna set a payment date, typically one more month into the future. So March 1st, that $2,000 is due. If you don't pay it by then, you can set up payment plan and we will charge you interest on the balance, whatever interest rate we agreed upon, okay? So it's typically about, you're paying the credit card balance. It's basically a month removed, all right? Now, during that first month of January, right, as you're spending, there's no interest owed. Once you get your statement balance, there's no interest owed up until the due date of that balance. And so the best way to use the credit card is spend normally, what you would normally spend on, but you're just spending it on the credit card. And then you just set up an auto pay to pay off the full balance, the full statement balance on the due date, and just set it up. That way you'll never be charged interest on anything that you put on a credit card, okay? You'll have paid it off every month in full. And so there's no interest owed, okay? You don't have to pay interest just by using a credit card. The only way you do is if you carry a balance. And carrying a balance means that you have a statement balance that you did not pay off in full and you're making monthly payments on it instead. And so you're carrying that from month to month. That carried balance is what they're calculating the interest rate on, okay? And if you start month by month by month and that carried balance grows and grows, you're gonna be in a world of hurt real soon. So don't do that, it's a bad idea. Pay off your credit card every month. The statement balance, you get the statement, set on auto pay and pay it right out of your checking account. So that's how they work. So you need to watch out for carrying a balance and then also annual fees and other fees. Some cards have annual fees just for owning the card. Others have different fees for things like a cash advance, or if you fail to make a payment, or if your card's declined because you charged up to your credit limit. They could have different fees for that. So you just want to watch out. There's some really basic cards out there that don't have very many fees at all. And you can just spend like normal, pay off your balance every month, and you just go towards building your credit and earning, rewards, points back, and all that type of thing. So that's how it works. And that's what you want to do. If you're going to use credit cards, pay it off every month. If you don't think you can do that, or history has shown that you can't, then don't use credit cards, or ask that your limit be reduced, right? Limit it to like $2,000. So once you spend $2,000, you can't spend any more on your credit card. Okay, it's a very easy way to force yourself to not spend on it if that's your situation. But you got to get a handle on that. So become aware of how you work with credit cards. If you don't trust yourself, lower the balance or get rid of them and just use your cash, and then you're not going to get into trouble. But the vast majority of you are going to be fine just spending what you normally spend on the credit card and then paying it off every month and reaping some of the rewards from the credit card program. Now, credit cards, yes, they earn money. Credit card companies earn money based on people paying interest, right? Like carrying a balance and paying interest. That's where they earn money. But their revenue model is based on transactions. Every time there's a transaction with their card, there's money up for grabs. Okay. The transaction fees, you guys know, like the 2 to 3%. Well, those are called interchange fees, and they get a set amount per transaction plus a percentage of the actual transaction amount. Okay. And all that together is called the interchange. And credit card companies earn a ton of money from this. Okay. You imagine millions of transactions, and they're earning money every single transaction. Of course, they earn money when you just pay them interest, a ton of interest, but a lot of those loans actually end up defaulting. People don't ever pay them back. And what credit card companies do after a while, after trying to collect, is they might just sell the debt off for pennies on the dollar, right? So they'll take this $20,000 that haven't been paid, and they'll sell it off to somebody for 25 cents on the dollar to get it off their books and just be done with it. And then that new company will try and collect on it, right? And that might happen multiple times. So the credit card companies, yeah, they'll earn money on your interest, but really they are wanting you to use their cards and spend on them constantly, okay? That's how they can afford to pay all these rewards. And that's the incentive for you to use their card versus somebody else's. They want transaction volume. The higher the volume of transactions, the more money they make, okay? So that's how they're set up. In the next video, we're going to talk about options for paying off a balance on your credit card and ways to avoid, the interest. And then we'll also talk about some of the benefits and how to optimize those. So stay tuned. We'll jump into those in the next videos.
Financial freedom starts with understanding how money really works.